You know when you're about to do something and there's that little pause, that hang on a second feeling.
Yeah, that internal check.
Exactly. Well, today we're diving into the brain system that's often behind that pause. It's called the Behavioral Inhibition System, or BIS.
Hmm.
We've gone through the research, and our mission here is pretty simple. Give you a clear idea of what this BIS is, how it works, and, why it actually matters in everyday life.
Think of it as like your brain's built-in warning system,
Mm.
always kind of scanning for potential trouble ahead.
Okay, interesting. So let's break it down. What is the BIS fundamentally?
Well, it's essentially a neurobiological system, a network in the brain.
Right.
And it's particularly tuned in to signals that suggest something bad might happen, like
Yeah.
punishment or non-reward when you expected something good, or even just, novelty, new stuff.
So unfamiliar territory, basically.
Exactly. Or anything that signals potential conflict or failure. Yeah. When it picks up on those cues, it tends to interrupt whatever you're currently doing.
Interrupts. How so?
It kind of puts the brakes on ongoing behavior. It makes you stop, increases your attention, makes you more vigilant. Scan the environment more carefully.
Okay, so it's the brakes. How does that contrast with the system that makes us want to do things? The accelerator, maybe?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, the accelerator is more like the behavioral activation system, the BAS.
BAS.
The BAS drives you towards things you want, rewards, goals, positive stuff. The BIS, on the other hand, is about avoiding the negative, the potential threats. They're distinct systems.
Two sides of a coin, influencing different actions.
Precisely. One says, go get it, and the other says, whoa, hold up a sec.
Got it. So what sort of things actually flip the switch? What triggers the BIS?
Well, think about walking into a totally new social situation where you don't know anyone.
Uh-huh. Awkward.
Right. Or hearing a sudden loud noise unexpectedly. Or maybe getting cues that you might be criticized or punished.
Okay.
So signals of punishment, novelty, uncertainty, stimuli associated with negative outcomes in the past, those are prime BIS activators.
Yeah, the situations definitely make me feel more hesitant. A bit anxious, maybe? Is that the BIS connection?
Absolutely. That feeling of anxiety, that caution, that tendency to maybe pull back or hesitate, that's the subjective experience of the BIS kicking in.
So it makes you more risk averse.
Generally, yes. It promotes conscious behavior, avoidance of potential danger or failure. Makes you freeze, assess.
Okay, let's get technical for a second. What's going on inside the brain? Which parts are the key players here?
So research points pretty strongly to a few areas. The septohippocampal system is important.
Septohippocampal. What does that do?
It seems to be involved in comparing expected outcomes with actual outcomes.
Okay.
If there's a mismatch, especially an unpleasant one, it flags it. Sort of an uh-oh signal.
Okay. And you mentioned fear earlier.
Right, so the amygdala is definitely involved too. It's crucial for processing fear and other emotions, threat detection. These areas work together.
Makes sense. Now, we all know people who seem naturally super cautious and others who are, well, not. Does that come down to their BIS?
There's definitely a strong link. People vary quite a bit in how sensitive their BIS is.
So some people's warning system is just more sensitive.
Exactly. A highly sensitive BIS means you react more strongly to those triggers we talked about. Leads to more anxiety, more inhibition, more avoidance, typically.
And someone with a less sensitive BIS?
Might be less bothered by novelty or potential threats. Maybe more impulsive, less likely to pause and assess.
How do researchers actually figure this out? How do they measure BIS sensitivity?
They use a few methods. Questionnaires are common self-report scales asking about anxiety, worry, reactions to novelty, fear of punishment.
Okay.
And they also look at physiological measures, things like heart rate variability or brain activity patterns using EEG or fMRI when people are exposed to specific stimuli, like potential threats or uncertain situations.
Right. So where does this BIS concept fit into the bigger picture of, personality theories?
It's actually a cornerstone of a major theory called reinforcement sensitivity theory, developed initially by Jeffrey Gray.
Reinforcement sensitivity theory.
Yeah. It basically proposes that fundamental personality dimensions arise from individual differences in these core brain systems. The BIS for sensitivity to punishment and novelty, the BIS for sensitivity to reward, and also a fight-flight-freeze system for reacting to immediate danger.
So our personalities are partly shaped by how tuned these systems are.
That's the core idea, yes. How reactive your BIS and BIS influences a lot about how you approach the world.
Okay, so if someone has a really, really sensitive BIS, It's working overtime. Could that lead to problems, maybe mental health issues?
There's quite a bit of research suggesting that, yes, an overactive BIS is strongly linked to a higher risk for anxiety disorders.
Like which ones?
Generalized anxiety disorder, for example, that persistent excessive worry about lots of different things. It could reflect a BIS that's constantly perceiving potential threats everywhere, even when they're minor or unlikely.
That makes sense. It's like the caution light is just stuck on.
Sort of, yeah. Or it's just incredibly sensitive to even faint signals.
Which leads to the question, can you do anything about it? If you feel like your BIS is maybe too sensitive, can you, I don't know, recalibrate it?
Yeah, that's a really important question. While we can't just flip a switch, certain approaches can help manage the impact of a sensitive BIS.
Like therapy.
Yes, therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, often work on changing thought patterns and behavioral responses related to anxiety and avoidance. Certain types of training can also help regulate emotional responses over time. It's about learning to manage the sensitivity.
So you're not necessarily changing the system itself, but how you respond to it.
That's a good way to look at it. Learning coping strategies, changing interpretations of situations.
Okay, so let's recap quickly. The BIS is this brain system, our internal caution light.
Sensitive to punishment, novelty, uncertainty.
Makes us pause, feel anxious, behave cautiously. Key brain parts are the septohippocampal system and the amygdala.
Right.
And people vary a lot in how sensitive it is, which ties into personality and even risk for things like anxiety disorders.
You've got it. It's a fundamental system for navigating risk.
All right. So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about your own tendencies. Are you more of a cautious planner or a dive right in type? What kinds of situations really make you hit the pause button? Maybe thinking about your own BIS can offer some insight into why you react the way you do.
It's definitely food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.